Hey everybody, welcome to Bend with Bree. Today we're going to be doing a class that is a beginner to intermediate middle splits flow. So we're going to start in easy pose here, doing some spinal circles in both directions. You can rub your thighs, switch your feet out. Now what I want you to do is bring one foot forward, foot flexed, so it's going to be about to the center of your chest where your heart is, and start to walk your hands forward. So the more flexible you are, the further forward you can go. I started on my hands, now I'm dropping to my elbows. And if you are a little bit more advanced, you can drop all the way down so your head is resting on the floor. I will be showing the beginner to intermediate variations throughout this flow, but I'll provide the more advanced options. Now you're going to switch sides. So you're going to bring the opposite foot forward, foot flexed to about the center of your chest, starting with your hands on the ground. You can drop to your elbows. This is good for getting that outer hip. I really like this stretch anytime I'm about to stretch my middle splits. Awesome. So come into a butterfly pose. You're going to bring your feet out a little bit, so a wide diamond. You're just going to bend and straighten your elbows. Bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, hold. You want to thinking of your neck as an extension of your spine. So see, I'm not like arching my neck forward a lot. Now bring your feet in really close as you can to you. Shift side to side. You can make some more waving motions. Rub your thighs a little bit. Now twist to one direction. Twist to the other. This stretch always feels super good to me. Bring your feet. So you're going to come into a double pigeon. You're going to bring one foot to the opposite knee and then stack the knee on top of the other foot. So when you're in this full posture, your knee and feet will be perfectly connected. But if you're a little bit further away, you'll notice your knee will lift a little bit, and that's perfectly okay. Now go ahead and switch sides. So I'm showing again the intermediate variation where you see my knee is a little bit lifted. If you're more flexible, you can start to walk your hands forward. If you're less flexible, that knee will be higher. So bring your feet in front of you, moving the flesh from your sit bones, feet flexed. Rub your thighs here, point and flex your feet. Flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point. Do some ankle circles on the right side, then the left. Switching directions. Now grab onto your calves and bend and straighten the elbows. So your toes pointed is going to be easier than toes flexed. So straighten, bend, straighten, bend. Now hold. I want you to push yourself, but maybe like a level 6, so not fully here. Just kind of letting your muscles loosen up a bit. Now come into a V shape. So you're not coming into a full straddle. Move your rib cage side to side. Rub your thighs. Now, what you want to do is plant your hands on the floor and bend and straighten your elbows. Like a little mini push-up. Straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend. Now hold. If you can plant your elbows on the floor, do that. Otherwise, your hands will be straight. So you're going to straighten and now plant your elbows. Straighten, elbows down, straighten, elbows down, and hold. Breathing here. Any holds, the breath is going to be a really, really powerful tool for you. So come into a wide straddle here. Side to side. Moving your rib cage around. Take a deep breath. Get rooted and connected to your body here. Now plant your hands on the earth and you're going to do those mini push-ups. Bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. and walk your hands further forward. You're going to bend and straighten, but this time planting your elbows. So bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, and hold. So hold if you can with your elbows on the earth. If you're more flexible, you can bring your belly to the earth. Now bring it back. Swing your feet behind you. And we're going to come into a frog's pose here, but with your feet towards each other. So you want your knees in line with your hips, your toes connected, and I'm going to be on my elbows here. You can come onto your stomach or onto your hands. Being on your hands is going to be the hardest variation because that will be pressing your hips towards the earth more. If you're more advanced, your hips will be fully on the earth. If you're more of a beginner, your hips will be higher. No problem either way. This is one of the best stretches for middle splits. So go ahead and bring yourself forward and back a bit like I'm showing in the video. This will just hit some different angles. You can hold back. Now if you were on your elbows, you can come all the way down to your belly. Try to relax. Frog pose is extremely difficult, but it's a really powerful stretch. The more you do it, the easier it does get. This used to be one of my least favorites, and now I can't say it's one of my favorites, but it is a pose I can find a lot of relaxation in. So I'm coming back onto my elbows here. What I'm going to do is separate my feet. So you want your ankles to be in line with your knees, feet flexed, knees in line with hips still, and just holding. Again, the same variations. You can be on your elbows, your belly, or your hands being the hardest. So if you are more beginner, your hips are going to be higher, which I just showed on screen. If you're more advanced, your hips will be closer to the earth. No matter where you're at, you want to bring your hips forward and backward. Forward and back, switching the angles up a bit here. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Now hold, and you're going to bring your belly to the earth. So settle in, breathe, relax. You're doing great. Getting middle splits is not easy. Make sure you're taking lots of recovery time for yourself. So hot baths, massage chairs if you have access to one. My gym has one, so I'm super lucky. Passive stretching, massage guns. So bring onto all fours. You can bring your hips forward and back, side to side, just loosening up here before swinging your feet back forward, feet in front of you, and we're going to repeat that. So forward fold, this time I'm flexing my feet, so we're going to take a little bit more advanced variations here this time. Forward fold. Now lighter straddle, kind of a pizza shape. I'm going straight to my elbows. Again, the options would be belly or hands. Your widest straddle, elbows, belly or hands. So bring your hands to the earth, and we're going to do those push-ups a little bit here, but when you bring yourself down, you want to roll forward into your middle splits. So your hips are going to lift a little bit off the earth, and that's okay. So rolling forward, up, forward, up, forward, up. Rolling into your middles is one of the easiest way to get there. Forward, up, forward, up. Your knees will be facing up in straddle, then they'll roll forward slightly as you go into your middle splits. Perfect. So now this next time that you come down, I want you to hold your middle splits. Now again, you don't need to be all the way to the earth. You can be holding yourself up so your hips are lifted. Doesn't matter how high up you are. It's not about that. I'll be honest, it's way harder when you don't have your middle splits. This may look crazy to you now, but you don't have to hold up your body weight. I will show that variation later, and it is exhausting. So swing your feet back forward, shake them out, give yourself a hug. Being kind to yourself here, erasing any thoughts that you had that were maybe a little bit self-deprecating before we come back into a wide straddle. So we're going to do the same thing. Down, roll forward, up. 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 Down, roll forward, and hold. Another middle split hold. You can do this. You can come onto your elbows here, or your belly, or you can hold yourself up. You can use your hands to help bring your feet together. Sometimes they get a little stuck when you're doing a lot of middle splits work. Now bring yourself into a narrow knee child's pose. Your hands are going to be behind you, just resting your forehead on the earth. Let your body fully sink into the ground before you come into a standing wide leg forward fold. So your hands are going to be on the earth in front of you. Just holding for a second. Can bring, so a gentle twist here, bring one hand to your low back, twisting slightly, then bring your other hand to your low back. Now I want you to bend and straighten your elbows, bend, straighten, and then start to roll down into your middle split. So just let your feet slide out. I'm showing you the variation here where I'm holding myself up. You can see it's taking some upper body strength to get myself to do that. So like I said, it's actually easier the further you get than harder. Here's the straight arm variation of holding myself up. Go ahead and drop down, swing your legs back, go into all fours, and back into a wide leg forward fold. Now you're going to drop and lift your hips. So hands are planted, drop your hips, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Really good mobility exercise here. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. You can also bring your hands on some blocks here to lift the floor, then slide down into your middles. So I'm holding myself up here with the straight arms, which this was easier. I don't know why I did the bent elbow before, but this is the variation I would try. But the bent elbow is another one. Belly to earth, feet behind you, all fours. Back to the wide leg forward fold, but you're going to bring your foot to the edges of the mat now. Your feet to the edges of the mat. So a little bit narrower. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. Just changing the angle a bit. Drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Just swing your hips side to side here. And one last slide out. So I dropped to my elbows before sliding out this time. So this is kind of an elbows planted variation where you can hold yourself up. And then I did slide fully down into middle splits. So there's 3 ways to hold yourself up in middle splits if you're not all the way there. You can plant your hands and have your elbows bent, plant your hands and have your elbows straight. You can also plant your full forearms on the ground and hold yourself there. Bring yourself into a wide-kneed child's pose, hands in front of you, then bend your elbows towards your head, gentle tricep stretch. Then lift one arm and slide it under for a little twist, pushing into the opposite hand. You can also bend the hand that's in the twist and just kind of massage your shoulder. Switch sides, sliding through, massage. I'm trying to get a pull-up right now, and it's really hard, and so I'm like sore there all the time. So if you're like me, something to try. Wide knee child's pose. Drop to your belly. Awesome, awesome job. I'd love to hear any recommendations or flows you'd like to see. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.